Have you ever found yourself trapped in the dead of night, tossing and turning beneath a tangle of sheets, your body aching with exhaustion, yet your mind refusing to surrender to sleep? The clock ticks relentlessly forward, each minute stretching into an eternity as the world outside your window slumbers in peaceful silence. For countless older adults, this restless torment isn't just an occasional annoyance, it's a persistent shadow, an unwelcome companion that creeps in with the passing years. The frustration of lying awake, staring into the darkness while your weary bones beg for rest, can feel like a cruel betrayal of the promise of age, a time when life should slow down, not keep you awake. But what if the key to unlocking the deep, rejuvenating sleep you crave isn't hidden in a prescription bottle or an elaborate nighttime ritual? What if it's been waiting for you all along, nestled quietly on your dinner plate? For years, doctors and researchers have been peeling back the layers of a fascinating connection, one that ties the food we eat to the quality of the rest we get. Their findings are nothing short of remarkable. Certain everyday foods hold the power to transform sleepless nights into peaceful slumber, especially for older adults wrestling with insomnia. These aren't exotic elixirs or rare superfoods. They're simple, familiar ingredients that work their magic by boosting melatonin, sparking serotonin production, and soothing frayed nerves, all without the foggy side effects of sleep medications. In this journey, we're diving deep into 5 doctor-recommended foods, each backed by science, to help older adults reclaim the rest they deserve. Stick with us until the end, because beyond discovering what these foods are, you'll uncover the captivating why, the hidden mechanisms that could forever change how you think about sleep. Are you ready to rewrite your nights? Let's begin. Number 1. Kiwi, nature's sleep-boosting secret picture. This, a small, unassuming fruit, its fuzzy brown skin concealing a vibrant green heart, speckled with tiny black seeds. It's not much to look at, but the kiwi is a quiet powerhouse, a gift from nature that's been quietly revolutionizing sleep for those willing to give it a chance. For Margaret, a 68-year-old retiree from a bustling small town, sleep had become a distant memory. Years of caring for her family, juggling a demanding job, and navigating life's endless curveballs had left her with a mind that refused to quiet down at night. She'd lie in bed, her thoughts racing like a runaway train. Worries about her grown children, memories of her late husband, the creak of the house settling around her. Exhausted yet wide awake, she'd watch the hours slip by, wondering if restful sleep was a luxury she'd lost forever. That is, until a friend mentioned an odd little trick: eating kiwi before bed. Skeptical but desperate, Margaret decided to try it. She peeled 2 kiwis one evening, their tart, sweet juice dripping onto her fingers as she savored the refreshing bite. An hour later, tucked beneath her faded quilt, she felt something unfamiliar. A gentle heaviness in her limbs, a softening of the edges of her mind. That night, she drifted off faster than she had in years, waking to sunlight streaming through her curtains, her body humming with a rare energy. What Margaret stumbled upon wasn't a fluke, it's science. A study from the Asia-Pacific Journal of Clinical Nutrition revealed that participants who ate 2 kiwis an hour before bed every night for 4 weeks saw their sleep transform. They fell asleep 35% faster, stayed asleep 3% longer, and woke up less often. Their nights no longer fractured by restless stirring. So what makes this humble fruit so potent? Kiwi is a natural ally in the battle against insomnia, brimming with nutrients that coax the body into rest. Its secret lies in its ability to boost serotonin, a neurotransmitter that soothes the mind and paves the way for melatonin, the hormone that governs your sleep-wake cycle. As we age, melatonin production dwindles, leaving older adults like Margaret vulnerable to sleepless nights. Kiwi steps in like a gentle gardener, nourishing the body's natural processes to replenish what time has taken away. But that's not all. Rich in antioxidants and folate, kiwi also tames oxidative stress, the cellular wear and tear that keeps your brain buzzing when it should be winding down. For someone like Margaret, whose nights were haunted by an overactive mind, this stress-busting power was a lifeline, quieting the storm within. Dr. Alan Richardson, a sleep specialist with over 3 decades of experience, knows this connection well. Sitting in his cozy office, lined with books and framed degrees, he leans forward, his voice steady with conviction. People think insomnia is just a nighttime problem, he says, adjusting his glasses. But it starts long before you climb into bed. What you eat during the day builds the foundation for how you sleep at night. Kiwi, with its serotonin-boosting magic, can be a revelation for older adults who've given up hope. For Margaret, adding kiwi to her routine was as simple as slicing it into a bowl or blending it into a light evening smoothie. No pills, no grogginess, just a small, delicious shift that rewrote her nights. If you have ever longed for a natural way to slip into sleep's embrace, kiwi might just be your golden ticket. Number 2. Tart cherries, a melatonin-rich miracle. Now, imagine a handful of tart cherries, their deep ruby skins glistening like jewels in the soft glow of a kitchen light. For James, a 72-year-old widower living alone in a quiet suburb, these little fruits became an unexpected savior. After losing his wife of 45 years, his nights stretched into a lonely void, filled not with rest, but with the ache of absence. Sleep eluded him, slipping through his fingers like sand as he lay in the too-big bed they once shared. He'd tried over-the-counter sleep aids, but they left him groggy, disconnected, a shadow of the vibrant man he'd once been. One evening, flipping through a health magazine, he read about tart cherries. Intrigued, he picked up a bottle of tart cherry juice from the local market. Its sharp tang, a stark contrast to the sweet cherries he'd known as a child. That night, after sipping a glass, he felt a subtle shift, a softening of the grief that had kept him awake. Sleep came, not as a battle, but as a quiet gift. James's experience echoes what science has uncovered. A 2012 study in the European Journal of Nutrition found that participants who drank tart cherry juice twice daily for a week slept an average of 84 minutes longer each night, their sleep deeper and more restorative. Unlike their sweeter cousins, tart cherries are a natural reservoir of melatonin, delivering it directly to a body that's forgotten how to produce enough on its own. For older adults like James, whose melatonin levels have faded with time, this makes tart cherries a gentle yet powerful ally. Dr. Emily Carlson, a neurologist with a passion for sleep disorders, explains it from her sunlit office, her hands gesturing animatedly. As we age, our internal clocks start to stutter, she says. Tart cherries don't just supplement melatonin, they help reset the rhythm, bringing back a sense of balance. But melatonin is only part of the story. Tart cherries brim with anthocyanins, antioxidants that douse inflammation, a silent saboteur of sleep. For James, whose restless nights were often paired with the stiffness of aging joints, this anti-inflammatory boost eased his body into a state of calm. Add in tryptophan, an amino acid that fuels serotonin and melatonin production, and you've got a triple-threat sleep aid wrapped in a tiny, tangy package. James found his ritual simple: a glass of juice in the morning with breakfast, another in the evening as the sun dipped below the horizon. No next-day fog, no dependency, just a natural bridge back to the rest he'd lost. If you've ever yearned for sleep that heals rather than escapes, tart cherries might light your way. Number 3, bananas. The quiet power of magnesium and tryptophan. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine the soft, golden curve of a banana resting in your hand, its smooth skin a familiar comfort, its sweet scent a whisper of simpler days. For Clara, a 65-year-old grandmother with a laugh as warm as summer, that humble fruit became an unexpected lifeline. Life had worn her down. Decades of raising 3 kids on a shoestring budget, nursing her husband through illness, and now tending to her garden and her grandkids' endless energy. By nightfall, her body screamed for rest, but sleep remained elusive. She'd lie in her attic bedroom, the old ceiling fan whirring above, her muscles tense and her mind replaying the day's small dramas. Pills weren't an option. Clara distrusted anything that dulled her sharpness. But when her daughter suggested bananas, she shrugged and gave it a try. Slicing one onto her evening toast, she ate slowly, savoring the creamy sweetness. That night, her body softened, her thoughts slowed, and sleep crept in like an old friend. Clara's discovery wasn't just luck, it's rooted in science. Bananas are a treasure trove of sleep-enhancing nutrients, chief among them magnesium, a mineral that acts like a lullaby for the nervous system. Studies, like one from the Journal of Research in Medical Sciences, show that older adults who boost their magnesium intake sleep longer and wake less often, their brains calmed by this unsung hero. Magnesium deficiency is a quiet thief, stealing rest from those who need it most. And as we age, it's harder to keep levels high. Bananas deliver it naturally, relaxing tight muscles and quieting the chatter of an overworked mind. Then there's tryptophan, the same amino acid that makes Thanksgiving turkey a sleep legend. In bananas, it fuels serotonin production, lifting the weight of stress and nudging the body toward melatonin's embrace. Dr. James Thornton, a nutritionist with a knack for unraveling sleep's mysteries, leans back in his chair, his office cluttered with research papers and fruit sketches. Older adults often miss the link between what they eat and how they sleep, he says, his voice rich with years of insight. Magnesium and tryptophan in bananas aren't just nutrients, they're tools to rebuild rest. Clara's story isn't rare. It's what happens when you give your body what it's been craving. For Clara, it was easy. Sometimes a banana alone, sometimes blended into a smoothie with a splash of almond milk. Gentle on her stomach, steady on her blood sugar, it became her nightly ritual. No spikes, no crashes, just a slow descent into dreams, her mornings bright with energy she hadn't felt in years. If you've ever lain awake, your body a knot of tension, a banana might just untie it. Number 4, walnuts. A nutty boost for body and mind. Now picture a small wooden bowl, cradling a handful of walnuts, their wrinkled shells hiding a wealth of quiet strength. For Henry, a 70-year-old former mechanic with hands still calloused from decades of wrench turning, these nuts were a revelation. Retirement hadn't brought the peace he'd hoped for, nights stretched long and empty, his mind replaying the hum of engines and the clatter of tools. Sleep came in fits, interrupted by restless legs and a brain that wouldn't quit. He'd tried melatonin pills, but they left him dazed, stumbling through his mornings. One day, browsing a farmer's market, a vendor handed him a sample of walnuts, touting their sleep benefits. Henry, gruff but curious, took them home. That evening, he cracked a few open, their earthy richness a comfort as he munched. Sleep found him that night, deep, unbroken, a mechanic's dream of a well-oiled machine. Science backs Henry's quiet triumph. A study in nutrients found that walnuts naturally raise melatonin levels in the blood, fine-tuning the body's internal clock, a clock that, for older adults like Henry, often runs slow. But walnuts don't stop there. They're packed with tryptophan, feeding the serotonin-melatonin pipeline, and omega-3 fatty acids, a brain-boosting bonus. Omega-3s elevate DHA levels, enhancing melatonin production efficiency, a double dose of restful power. For Henry, whose restless nights were tangled with the physical echoes of hard labor, the anti-inflammatory omega-3s soothed his joints, while the melatonin eased his mind into stillness. Dr. Catherine Reynolds, a nutritional medicine expert, sits in her clinic, surrounded by jars of seeds and nuts, her eyes bright with enthusiasm. Patients like Henry think supplements are the only answer, she says, tapping a walnut on her desk. But foods like these deliver melatonin in a way the body understands. Slow, steady, effective. It's not just about sleep, it's about harmony. Henry's routine was simple: a small handful in the evening, sometimes sprinkled over yogurt, their protein and fats, keeping his blood sugar stable through the night. No forced drowsiness, no morning haze, just a natural rhythm restored. If you've ever woken in the dark, longing for sleep to stay, walnuts might hold the key. Number 5. Chamomile tea. A soothing balm for the soul. Finally, envision a steaming mug of chamomile tea, its golden hue catching the flicker of a bedside lamp, its floral aroma curling through the air like a whispered promise. For Lila, a 67-year-old artist with a spirit as vivid as her canvases, this tea became her nightly muse. Life had always moved fast, raising a daughter alone, pouring her heart into every brushstroke. But age brought a new challenge, a mind that raced when the world grew still. She'd lie awake, sketching ideas in her head, her body restless beneath the weight of unfinished dreams. Sleep aids dulled her creativity, a price she refused to pay. Then, at a friend's insistence, she brewed her first cup of chamomile, the warmth seeping into her hands as she sipped. That night, her thoughts softened, her eyelids grew heavy, and sleep wrapped her in its gentle arms. Chamomile's magic isn't folklore, it's fact. A study in the Journal of Advanced Nursing found that older adults drinking chamomile tea for 2 weeks fell asleep faster, woke less often, and rose refreshed. The secret? Apigenin, an antioxidant that binds to brain receptors, dialing down anxiety and ushering in drowsiness. For Lila, whose nights were a canvas of worry, this was a revelation. Her mind quieted, her body eased. Beyond sleep, chamomile tames inflammation and soothes digestion, banishing the aches and discomforts that can fracture rest. Dr. Laura Bennett, a holistic sleep specialist, speaks from her serene office, a teapot steaming nearby. Chamomile isn't just a drink, she says softly. It's a signal to the body. Time to let go. For older adults, it's safe, gentle, and profound. Lila made it her ritual. 30 minutes before bed, she'd brew a cup, sometimes adding a drizzle of honey, the warmth a prelude to peace. Caffeine-free and kind to her system. It became her bridge to rest. Her mornings alive with color once more. If you've ever stared at the ceiling, lost in the noise of your own mind, chamomile tea might be your lullaby. Final thoughts, a new dawn for restless nights. As we close this journey, pause and breathe. Insomnia can feel like an unshakable curse of aging, a thief that steals the quiet you've earned. But what if the answer isn't in fighting harder, but in nourishing smarter? From Margaret's kiwi to James's cherries, Clara's bananas to Henry's walnuts and Lila's chamomile, these 5 souls and the science behind them show us a truth. Sleep isn't lost, it's waiting. These foods don't demand drastic change, just a willingness to try, a flicker of hope. Richardson's words linger. Your diet shapes your sleep more than you know. Feed your body well, and rest follows. Now it's your turn. Which of these sparked something in you? Have you tasted their promise? Or will you tonight? Share your thoughts below. Your story might light someone else's path. If this resonated, like, subscribe, and pass it on. Your support fuels more stories like this, more chances to inspire. Thank you for joining us. Here's to nights reclaimed and mornings reborn. See you next time.